Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Flying Cat Marketing podcast video interview series. Today I have Ognjen Bošković, I hope I pronounced that right, who is growth marketer at contentdistribution.com, content agency whose CEO we had on the podcast not too long ago. And we've been interacting together, Armin and I, on LinkedIn for a while. He's a crazy growth marketer. I'm just loving all the content that you're putting out there. So I'm really excited to have you on the show today. How's it going?
Hey, Meva. Good to be here. Finally meeting you in person or over Zoom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Awesome. So we were just talking before we started recording about how, since you guys are a content agency, all of the resources are going to client fulfillment work, and you're the one who is doing all of the other kind of marketing. And that actually, although you are an SEO agency, you're not specialized in SEO. So you're doing other kinds of growth marketing. What are you up to over there?
Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of, ironic. We are basically an SEO content agency, and lots of success in that line of work. But then those, content writers, editors, and all the resources are pretty much focused around the client work. So I came in as the one person marketing team to work on Cluster AI, our keyword grouping tool, and the SaaS business we have around that. So to grow that side of business, the SaaS business, I am not using much SEO, and we are an SEO agency, and the tool is for the SEOs and content marketers. But I'm kind of doing everything else beside it. We are doing some SEO obviously too. We are ranking for keyword grouping tool, keyword, and so on. And we do have some organic traffic going on. But yeah, doing a bunch of stuff. SEO is not the number one.
Mm-hmm. So you're pretty active on your Facebook group, not just your Facebook group, but a bunch of Facebook groups from what I see on LinkedIn. And then from what I understand from a conversation that we had before, you're also growing an email list like crazy, right? So which channel are you investing the most time in, or how are you managing all these different channels?
Well, in terms of importance, I think everyone should at least try to focus on the building the email list, because whatever you do now, or few years from now, that email list is gonna be the resource you can always use. We can say that for community in general, but email list is a platform, or a place you own, and you can always make use of it. So yeah, I'm spending a lot of time on social. Most of our growth does come from organic social. We just recently started doing actually just testing Facebook ads, for example. But yeah, organic social is probably the place where I spend the most time.
I love your approach. When you say organic social, it's not just publishing posts on organic. You're actually building a community. You're talking to people, you're commenting on people. Do you have a process about that, or are you just going on and chatting with people?
Yeah, so the way I feel about it is, you gotta have a process, but you also gotta do it, spontaneously. To produce the best kind of content, when you and best kind of engagement with people, you need to be also reactive, not just proactive. So you need to be proactive when it comes to, okay, so I'm gonna be doing this every week, day, whatever. But then reactive when you see a good post, a good question, whatever, good comment, and then you engage with people there, whether it's through DMs or comments and so on. But for example, there's a process, but then there's an opportunity where that process is going to happen. So I think that was like 2 weeks ago. I comment on a post. That comment receives like 15 likes. So I figure out, okay, this works. People like this, obviously. And then I don't stop there. Then I turn that comment into a post on my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn currently hates me, so I get like 10 likes. But then I don't stop there. Then I comment. Then I post the same thing on Facebook on my profile, and then it gets like 20 likes and a bunch of comments. And then I go into like 5, 6, 7, 8 groups and post the same thing. And in total, just by pasting the same thing that I commented somewhere, I get like 200, 300 impressions.
Okay.
Not impressions, engagement,
Okay.
comments plus likes and so on. And that's a good example of distributing the content like your grandma could handle that. So that's an easy win.
So what kind of Facebook groups are you joining?
So I'm aiming for SEO/content marketing groups, SaaS communities as well, B2B marketing in general, and one let's say one part of those groups is where our customers hang out. Then the other is where I'm the customer,
Mhm.
the audience. So a mash of those two.
That sounds like a full-time job going in there, because you to be able to get engagement in these groups, don't you have to have some kind of active presence in them as well?
Yeah, well, we are working on making this a process, ongoing process for the whole team, and it is hard. It is time consuming. The reason it works for me is I'm kind of quick on my feet, and I started out my career as a copywriter, so writing isn't an issue for me. And when I post or comment or whatever, I only do that when I have something that I deem smart to say. So it's something I've done, something I'm doing. It's not something I need to spend a lot of time thinking about and, okay, let me write a good comment or a post.
Yeah.
I think trying to do that is just a waste of time.
So when you say that you're building a process for the whole team to do that, it's to do the same thing, to also become active in these groups. What does
Yeah.
that process look like if they're not as quick on their feet as you are? Because for
Yeah.
some people, I know they're like agonizing. What could I comment? How could I make this relevant? When in my mind, this is something, like you said, you can just do it in 5 minutes. You can just kind of think about it, go in there. But some people aren't able to think that way, and
Yeah, and
that's why they
over
have a different
communicate.
role as well in the company.
Yeah. So big issues around that is, for me it's easier because I'm doing just my job. My job is to do stuff like that. But then we are trying to get other people whose job this isn't, and then they need to dedicate some time to these activities. And then what I find to work best is they need to figure out 30 minutes of their daily schedule to focus just on this, and not do it alongside other things, because that creates a mess with their time and their brains and so on. So yeah, that's one thing. Dedicate time to just do that. And then the other thing is, a lot of people in marketing try to, a rookie mistake. I'm going to be creating a product or whatever for the whole world. Who's your audience? Everyone is, or a big audience. And I think the world is evolving in a different way, and that you need to niche down now more than ever. And the way I apply that to what we're talking about now is just engage with the content that's really, you know, for you, and where other people like you engage, you know, where your tiny audience resides.
So you're also managing the emails for content distribution?
Yeah.
You shared with me the other day a deck, like a guide to turning LinkedIn posts into emails. And you gave me some really good tips as well, because at the time of recording this, have yet to, and my email list is somehow growing slowly. I'm not putting effort into it yet, but it's on my big to-dos for this year, now that I have my team a little bit more independent. Tell me, for the people who haven't seen your deck, I found it very useful. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that specific deck was about making a post on LinkedIn go viral, and the other part of it is making it actually drive some business goals. For us, it's MRR, new customers for Cluster AI. So I think you asked me basically two things. One is how to repurpose LinkedIn posts for email, and the other way around, I guess. And the other is the deck. So let me cover the first one first. Well, yeah, it's again a way of distributing content. So people on LinkedIn, only so many of them will see it. And if that's good content, then you should have it, you know, in other places, and email list is definitely one of them. The way I approach email marketing in general is, you know, 50% automated sequences, welcome sequences, and so on, and the other part is, you know, email blasts and the actual newsletter stuff. So when we have something really good, it's gonna go into that automated sequence because it's something people need to see for their benefit, obviously, whenever they, you know, enroll. And the other way we do the other 50%, the email blasts and the newsletter stuff, is, for example, like we had a AMA yesterday with inside our Facebook group with Jason Hennessy. He's an owner of you know, $10 million SEO agency, and so to promote that, we posted on LinkedIn, posted on Facebook, personal profiles, obviously the group, and then we sent out a blast through email. And you just need to you know, adjust the actual content for the specific platform just a tiny bit. You know, you don't have to have a completely different format on LinkedIn versus email and so on. So yeah, you can always use that. And now the other part of the question, the slides I've sent you. We published a case study like a few days ago. Biggest one so far, 0 to 500K in 17 months, 16 months. And a little hack I used is basically we posted on LinkedIn, comment hacking stuff, you know, ask people to comment in order to get a case study. And then we also sent an email. We gave an incentive to the people to comment on the LinkedIn post, link to the LinkedIn post. And that way we ensure that initially we will get more traction than we would do, you know, just organically.
Yeah.
And that worked for us so far. One of those similar posts and you know, releases drove almost 2K MRR in just 2-3 days from a single post that, you know, we spent no ads on that, just maybe few hours of my time.
So that was MRR for Cluster AI for the
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah. And I'm not even talking about all the DMs. Can you do SEO for us? Because if we were measuring that, we would be at least that 10 million SEO agency, because that was like That's crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So this case study, you started promoting it on LinkedIn after it was published or before?
Come again?
Because you were saying that when you published the case study on LinkedIn, you asked people to comment to get the case study, right?
Yep.
So you published this post before you actually published the case study online? Or-
No, the case study was already published. It wasn't visible on the website, so there's that. But even if it was, you know, people still consume content on LinkedIn, so they wouldn't have found it any other way unless someone decided to Google
Mhm.
us. But then again, it's I guess the psychology behind it is it's easier for people to get the link in the comments and not Google. But
Yeah,
we get those too. The direct traffic in Google Analytics goes up whenever we do stuff like that. So there are obviously people that get it themselves. Go getters, you know.
yeah. No, that's amazing. Case study is um, done right, the way that you've done it, are so powerful because you're not saying, look at what exactly, look at how great we are. It's look at how to get from 0 to 500K visits.
Yeah, I'm all about those case studies, especially when they are done right. And I'm also, you know, really lucky to be in a team that actually has those case studies. You know, they were working on that long before I joined, and having that kind of asset as a marketer, you know, that's the dream. And it took a lot of effort and you know, a good approach to SEO and so on. You can read more about it in the case study. And yeah, that was. I mean, whenever someone asks me, you know, for some consultation, whatever, I always tell them if you can build a case study that's actually using and produce awesome results, but actually using your own product, you know, if we're talking about SaaS, there's no better thing to do
Yeah,
with your business. You know, if you can just demonstrate how good your product is yourself, I mean, it doesn't go any doesn't get any better than that.
agree, agree. So you guys are all, well, I don't know how many people are on your team, but from the ones I'm connected with, you're all pretty active on your personal accounts on LinkedIn. Was that just organic? You guys all met because you were already active on LinkedIn, or did somebody push that initiative in the company?
Well, when I joined, I pushed LinkedIn a lot, and I didn't really do it for, you know, business purposes before. Besides me, you know, working to get gigs and enjoying the platform, you know, basically. But yeah, I pushed LinkedIn, and then we did LinkedIn on my profile and Nick's profile, and then we've seen it, you know, work really well, really well. And then we decided, okay, let's do it, you know, across the whole team, and we are slowly getting there.
So how is it to push the employees to get on LinkedIn?
Well,
What are you
yeah,
encouraging them to talk about?
yeah. So I think the only way that can work is people need to do what they uh, in general want to do. So and share the stuff that they actually know, you know, and engage in conversations that they actually enjoy. So yeah, the way we approach it is, you know, this is your field. You define what you want to talk about. What do you want to be known for, and who's your audience, and align that with, you know, business goals. And you can always do that. And because there are, you know, 7-8 billion people on the planet, so it's easy to find a matching audience between and whatever 700 million people on LinkedIn and so on. So yeah, we always you know, we wouldn't be doing it if people didn't agree to do that. Pushing that, enforcing it, I don't think it would ever work. So yeah, I'm there to just offer some guidance, help with, for example, Tropi-copy, because we've got some people on the team who are educated. They are educated in language, and they have uh, BAs and stuff like that in English language, and I do not. And Tropi-copy for me is a natural thing because I started as a copywriter and so on.
Mhm.
And that's one of the biggest obstacles: get people to write Tropi-copy.
Okay, so you're saying that they're used to long form,
Yeah,
eloquently
and we
written, non-conversational copy.
exactly, and we are an SEO agency, so people from that line of work tend to write in that way, and I would argue that writing Tropi-copy for SEO purposes is also better,
Hmm.
but I do not have a case study to prove that yet.
Will you have one?
Not yet. I will have something soon.
So what does the day-to-day look like for you, marketing content distribution as a one-man agency marketing team?
uh, where should I start? So yeah, organic social is a big chunk of it. That means posting, engaging, uh, getting, for example, people, making some, establishing relationships with people uh, who have something valuable to share with our community, like arranging AMAs, getting us on the podcast, stuff like that. Uh, Maintaining the infrastructure, that the way I call it, and that means the funnel, uh, Google Analytics, uh, email sequences, all that stuff. Uh, right now, I'm working on Facebook ads too. Occasionally I write content, long form content for content marketing slash SEO purposes. So yeah, bunch of stuff. I'm also starting a podcast
Oh, really?
soon too. So yeah, I'm gonna be adding that to the plate.
Interesting.
So yeah, a bunch of stuff, and it would be really painful and exhausting if I didn't love the drill. So yeah, don't get into marketing, especially I guess growth marketing, if you don't aren't really obsessed about it.
Yeah, that's such a good thing to say because you have to get obsessed about it. Um, Unfortunately, almost to an unhealthy
Yeah,
amount.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Sometimes I get too tired of all the conversations. I'm not that extroverted, and sometimes it becomes too much, and then I have to just
mhm.
take a breath and leave the phone and laptop and all that stuff. But yeah, definitely way easier in terms of the process, but also the outcomes if you love it.
Yeah,
And I always I always have the moments like I lay down, prepare myself for sleep, lay to bed, and then I get an idea, like whether it's just a piece of copy or a campaign or whatever, and then I need to write it down, and otherwise I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. So yeah.
I can relate to that a lot. And that's where it must be nice as well to be a growth marketer focusing only on that one company, because then you can invest all of your ideas and brain work into that one company. And what I noticed being an agency on our
Mhm.
side, when we're running strategies for like 12 clients right now, um, you're coming up with these ideas for all 12. You're like, oh, what could I be doing? Even though it's you have to stay focused as well. We're a content agency, so we're going to be creating content for them and all these guerrilla tactics, growth tactics actually, are a lot more involved than creating content. Creating content is one part of it, but then it's how are you going to hack the distribution? How are you going to get
Yeah.
active on all of these different groups? Growing your personal brand is something that is difficult for us to encourage our clients to do. We say, get your employees involved because their personal brand is going to help the content that we create have such a stronger impact. Because sharing it on a company LinkedIn page isn't the same as the whole team, everybody on the team sharing it to their personal networks. So it's an interesting experiment to not only get our team, I'm trying to get inspired by you to get our team as well to feel freer to share on their personal profiles. Not only that, but also encouraging our clients to do the same thing. There's so much value in doing that.
I've never been a full-time consultant as you are, so I can only imagine how crazy it gets there. So yeah, good job keeping mental health and so on. You're doing well so far, at least. And yeah, when it comes to organic social and that stuff, I guess I would say it's not for everyone. You do have to have something to say. So figure out what you want to say, and then the rest will come easy. But yeah, and then the other thing is, people think about the feedback a lot. What's gonna happen if I get no likes and whatever, or someone gets some hateful comments or whatever. And I think you should view content or on social media as a conversation with a buddy, and it takes some confidence, but I think it's a good thing to work on. It's not just gonna help you with your stats. It's also gonna help have better conversations with people, because you're open to the world. And I know I'm now sounding like a mind coach and
Motivational
stuff
speaker.
like that, yeah, which I hate. But I think it's a good switch. Be open to experiences and whatnot, and good stuff will come your way because of that. Yeah, I'm definitely sounding too much like.
You're motivating me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Um, I have nothing else to add to that. I mean, I agree that all of this kind of marketing is something you need to be open to making mistakes, open to people are scared to sound stupid or to not write the perfect post, just open to not being perfect, and just the focus is making connections. I mean, it's because of our LinkedIn profiles that me and you are talking right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
And
Okay.
even without the business goals that we have to achieve, this would be good on its own. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it's not just about achieving the goals of the business that you're working for, the business that you're building, but just having a personal brand. It's kind of future proofing your career,
Yeah,
whichever
there's
way
that
you're
too.
going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess that the best place for people to connect with you if they feel so inspired after listening to this or watching this is LinkedIn.
Yeah, and comment on my post, because LinkedIn hates me at the moment.
Why does LinkedIn hate you?
I don't know. I'm kind of posting, bottom of the funnel stuff. So that's one, and then I have a bunch of connections that uh, the gurus would say add no value.
Okay.
So I will have to remove some connections, because and I also have, my audience is usually US and so on, and I have a bunch of connections here in Serbia that are not related to anything I do, so they obviously
Yeah.
have nothing to find in my post that's valuable to them. So there's that too. Or just my content isn't good enough. There's that
It could
option
be
too.
that. It's not that. I know that because I'm always enjoying what I see from you.
But anyway, build an email list, and if they hate you there, then you'll know for sure it's
It's a
you.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Ognjen or OG, in case I butchered that. And so if everybody, if you listened to this and enjoyed this wisdom that Ognjen shared with us today, please do connect with him and share this with friends and colleagues. And thank you for listening and thank you for joining me today.
That's a good CTA. I'm gonna be having you on my podcast soon. So enjoy. I'll look forward to having this similar conversation
Amazing.
again. Nice meeting you, Eva.
You too. Bye.
See ya.